last week, I guess we haven't talked about this. I went to see Tony live, and I did a 5K Detroit Free
Mm.
Press.
All on the same day.
Tony was on Friday, and then the Free Press Saturday. Yeah.
Okay, sounds enjoyable.
Yeah. What's the 5K for breast cancer awareness? A little, was that part of it?
No, it's for the Detroit Free Press Marathon. They do like a bunch of events. So it's like marathon, half marathon. It's actually the biggest international race in North America.
Goddamn, for real?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So they have like all these parties and stuff.
What's the training like for a 5K though? Like, do you have to really train, or did you like just go cold? Like, all right, I'm gonna do this.
I trained a little bit. I did one of those like training apps, but if you're somebody who runs or has been a runner, then you probably don't even need to train for real. It's because it's just a little 3.1.
Okay. Cool. Rob, what's going on with you this week though? What's happening in your world?
For me, man, I'm just like you. Not shit after my week.
Not a goddamn thing. Yeah. Yeah. I feel that. I did make some good food yesterday. I got back to cooking and shit, so that was cool. I made some Japanese curry.
Okay.
That was fire. Like I
Okay,
ate that
Chef
shit
Matt.
all day. Yeah, I ate that shit all day, like yesterday. So that was good.
Where you get the recipe from?
Dead ass though, what you can do though, if you go to Walmart, they got this shit called like golden curry, and it's like curry blocks. So what you do, you make your food, and then like after your food done sauteing and cooking up, you throw the blocks in there and it melt down into like this curry. So I ain't like engineering.
Oh, you fake as hell. You ain't no real chef. I thought you was really doing something. This nigga
I
talking about he put
did.
a bullion box in his shit. Think you going hard.
Nah, I mean shit. That shit.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's that much different than like if you really make it yourself. Like, I feel like it probably is better, but like,
It's definitely better.
You made it?
Me? No, but I went to go order it.
Exactly. Nigga, you don't know.
I know what curry tastes like. It don't come in a cube though.
It don't. It definitely do not. But that shit was good though.
I'm curious. We haven't talked about it on the pod just yet, but curious how your living situation is going.
That's a good question. How is it going? It's going good.
Are you living alone?
Yeah, I can't live with nobody else, like unless it's like my wife or some shit like that. I'm not living with no other adults. Like that's just not happening. Did you want me to tell the story, Jermaine? Is that what it was?
I think so, because that could be a part of your week for sure if you have any updates on that end. So yeah, break it down to us.
Man, I don't have any updates, but so let me
Fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Actually, I need to check the news just in case to see if something happened. But so I'm gonna try to make this long story as short as possible. So Saturday, I'm just gonna say last Saturday because I don't really remember when it was. Last Saturday, right? I'm fast asleep, slumbering. You know what I'm saying? Like catching some real Z's and shit like that. It's like 4:30 in the morning. I wake up. I get woken up by somebody because I'm hearing voices in the hallway, like outside of my door, and I'm hearing this man, this woman arguing and shit like that. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like I roll over. I'm like, it's 4:30 in the morning. Why the fuck they arguing? Especially outside, like go in your apartment, do this shit. So they arguing. The woman's talking about like you a bitch ass nigga. That's why you a bitch ass nigga. Your mama a bitch. That's why your sister a bitch. And then was talking like all this crazy shit, right? And then also the woman was saying shit like, I don't care, nigga. You do it. I'm ready to die. If you gonna do that shit, I don't know why you got that shit. If you're not gonna do nothing with it, do it then, nigga. I'm ready to die. Kill me then. Like crazy, like over and over, crazy. Like I'm not putting nothing on this. Like this is what was happening.
This was the lady or the guy who said that?
The lady was saying that to the dude, and she was talking crazy to this nigga. Like I said, talking about his mama a bitch and you a bitch and all that type of shit. And what made it so crazy is like I heard her and I couldn't really hear him, so I didn't know what the fuck was going on, right? So this went on from like 4:30 to 5:30. Mind you, I'm laying on the floor because I was like, I'm hearing it and I'm like, okay, but I hear it's like it might be a gun because she talking about I'm ready to do it or I'm ready to die. Just do it. I'm like, okay, he might have a gun, so let me lay down on the floor. So I laid down with my head outside of my door and like was listening to the conversation for like an hour. Like that shit was crazy. So So nothing really happened, right? So like everything died
Wait,
down.
so let me stop there.
Okay.
So you didn't call the cops
No. What the fuck I'm gonna call the cops for?
to quiet them down?
See, man, I thought about
That's what
calling
I
them.
do.
I thought about it.
But did you think that they were black? I'm,
Definitely. Like,
it's-
no, she was saying bitch ass nigga. Like she said
yeah, so
nigga.
then it's like, there's that added layer of like, damn, I'm about to call the cops on some black folks and really turn the situation up. I don't know.
hmm And I was thinking that like all
Yeah.
this shit was going through my head. Yeah, all that shit was going through my head. So I'm like, okay, let me see like the police situation in my city. And I figured out that we don't have any police here. So I can't really call the cops. Now, fast forward to Monday, right? So 2 days
Wait, you
later,
don't have police? What do you mean you don't have police in your city?
we don't got no police department.
You're lying. How is that possible?
I don't know, because I had read an article. I think they shut it down in like 2011, 2013 because of like funding or something like that.
Yo, that's
So
crazy. I've
yeah,
never heard of that before. Okay.
it's crazy. Yeah, me either. So yeah, I couldn't call nobody, but the day when I really should have called somebody because something might have happened is on Monday. So remember, I said this was Saturday night going into Sunday. So Sunday night was cool, but I was not prepared for what happened on Monday night. So Monday night, right? Fast asleep again, catching Z's. You know what I'm saying? Snoring, snoozing. 1:29 a.m. I get woken up by the craziest. I wish I had like a soundboard so I can play a similar scream, but like somebody was screaming like at the top of their lungs, like the most blood curdling, save me now. Somebody's trying to kill me scream at like 1:29 in the morning. So I roll over. I'm like, oh shit, like what the fuck is going on? And then
What's
I hear
going
nothing.
down?
Yeah, that's what I thought. So I hear nothing else, right? The next thing I hear is I hear a door close and I hear like a plastic bag getting dragged across the floor, like down the hallway. And that's it.
How you know it's a plastic bag or something like that? How do you know?
Well, okay, I might be embellishing that part. I don't know if it was a plastic bag, but I do know something was getting dragged across the floor. Like you could hear footsteps, you could hear something getting dragged across the floor, like going down the hallway. And it faded out, going down the hallway. From there, that was pretty much it. I just kept hearing banging like throughout the night till like 6 a.m., 7 a.m. So I don't know if he was trying to clean up the body parts or what the fuck he was doing or some shit like that. But that's what's going on in my building. I hope nobody died for real because I'm gonna feel bad, like because this story is actually crazy to me.
Well,
But
and the crazier part is with no police, like, I mean, who were you even supposed to call in this situation?
I really have no idea. Like I'm not gonna call the maintenance people. They ain't gonna do nothing but come and get shot too. So I really don't know. So yeah, what's your thoughts on that story? Like, am I tripping? Like, is it whoa? Well, okay, I'm looking at articles right now. It says man 30 charged in the fatal shooting of his wife. Hold on.
In your
Uh,
city?
Hold on, let me see. Oh no, okay, that's Clinton Township. Okay, never mind. I was about to say. I was about to say. So yeah, do y'all have any similar stories, any crazy stories that's ever happened to y'all at y'all apartment where it's like I should call the police over this?
Yeah, the last time I was living in an apartment, this was kind of the sign that it was time for me to get out of an apartment. Um, it was middle of the night. I had fallen asleep on the couch and I'm asleep on the couch. It's probably like 3 a.m. I hear somebody in the apartment below me screaming, kind of wakes me up.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next thing I know, I hear somebody banging on my door. And I'm like, oh shit, they might see the lights on. And so I, pretended like I was still asleep, didn't move, didn't look at the people, anything like that. To this day, never figured out what happened or who it was. Like I said, I'm pretty certain it was the person right below me. Uh, and honestly, I was like, damn, it sounds like she might be getting her ass beat. But
That's not funny. That's not funny.
But also, like, nah, I can't risk it. I'm sorry.
Because he was probably like, you next. I'm banging on your door, hoping you open that shit.
I was like, nah, And you know what's funny is like that person, it was just a 2-story building. So they lived on the bottom floor. It's like if somebody is like hurting you, being your ass, girl, you need to run out the door. Just run out into the parking lot Don't
We
don't
can't do
knock on my
nothing for
door.
you.
Hell no.
Nah.
What am I supposed to do?
What you think it was?
Stop beating her.
Like,
I'm sorry. That's
like
just
what?
not.
What you said? Like, no, it's no. Wait,
And it's like
So
shit.
what is running out to the parking lot gonna do?
I mean, if she's trying to get away from him, like run somewhere where it's not like there's a door stopping you. Like you're gonna run to my door, and then what? You're
nothing.
gonna
You
go
gonna act?
where from there? Like come inside. Eventually, you gotta leave. If I was her, I would run to the car, or at least run outside. Try to call the police.
Where's the guy at in this instance? Like,
I don't
like
know.
where's all this time at? Gonna like happen? I'm just, I'm like, this seems very thought out, but I'm like, I just don't understand how you're gonna grab your keys, grab your stuff, and like while he's beating on you.
Okay, true.
There's nothing you can do.
I will give you that. That is very true. I'll just say, as somebody who, if that's what was happening to her, which is once again very sad, domestic violence is not right. But it's like, girl, I can't. I don't know
We're gonna
you.
put the number in the caption. Domestic violence.
I don't know you, and there's nothing I can do for you. Like, if you saw me in the building, you would know. Like, what's her 5'2" ass gonna do? How's she gonna stop him?
Wait, so let's assume that the scenario that you've laid out is true, right? Who do you think came to the door? Do you think it would have been the man or the woman?
Who would have been at my door banging on the door?
Yeah.
My vision was that it was the woman, and she was like, "Can I come in?" That was the story I had in my head.
She just come to the door like, girl, I don't know what you're doing right now, but I'll give her.
Can I hide out here? Hell no, you can't. I'm so sorry, but I have seen ID channel. Like some of these abusive niggas are crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like
he gonna scale the side and get up in your balcony.
Yeah.
Like, what? I know I. Come out of there.
I don't put me in the mix. I'm sorry. That sounds bad to say, but
I feel that. Rod, do you have any crazy stories like that you can think of? Crazy neighbors?
Nah, not really. Only kind of recently. I would say maybe a year ago. I heard some gunshots and stuff like that. I already told it before.
Oh yeah,
on the pod.
yeah.
But yeah, that was the only time.
Did you ever figure out what happened with that? I can't remember.
I mean, shots was popped up, but I really don't know what happened. I think someone got hit.
Ooh,
damn! You hate to see
because
it.
they were screaming at the top of their lungs. So, and there was definitely blood. So yeah, something happened.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. I was looking for like blood in the hallway and shit like that when that shit happened
Detective
last
Matt.
week. Because I'm like, there's no way. I'm like,
I am going to solve this mystery.
No, for real. And you know what's funny? Like, okay, let's talk about.
You should have checked the dumpsters.
Ooh, I was thinking about it. I did think about it like a couple of days later because I threw some shit away and I was like, maybe I should look in here right quick. Like, it wasn't stinking or nothing. Like, it wasn't like, I don't know. I thought about
that's how you get your shit, like yourself off. You gotta be careful with stuff like that. Because you might be next.
That's my point. Because like, so on the first
another
night,
bag dragging across the hallway.
For real.
Like, I've done it once, I can do it again.
Right now, you thought you was safe, nigga? No. So it's funny that you said that because I did want to talk about that. Like, at what point do we intervene in these types of situations? Because I'm sitting there listening to this conversation for an hour of a woman talking about just kill me. I'm ready to die. Like, at one point, like, should I have intervened in that and been like, hey man, like, y'all move around with this shit? Or like, should I have intervened, or like that would have just been my death ticket at that point?
That's what the police is for. That's why you just give them a little call, do a wellness check, like there's a lot of noise going on, and let them handle it.
Yeah, I would agree. I think when you're in a situation where like emotions are amped up, people might be drinking, you don't know like the history of these people, you don't know what they might have on them. I would personally say not to intervene because a lot of people will redirect that energy. I feel like there have been so many stories that I've heard about, somebody trying to intervene on a woman's behalf and they're the one who ends up getting killed or hurt. And then the woman is still fine, you know. And while I get it, like, yeah, community, like self-preservation is real. So,
and you never know what'll happen.
Sometimes in those instances right there, like the dude is waiting for like a male energy so that he can really
hell
attack.
yeah.
Like in that situation. So the first guy who sticks up is like, all right, like it's go like it's over for you now. Now I got somebody to really hit.
You know, it could be either that, like, yeah, you're right. But at the same time, I feel like sometimes like women that do get men that do get aggressive with women wouldn't have that same energy with a dude. So like they would low key back down if a dude came and been like, man,
That's not always the truth.
it's not. But I feel like sometimes it is, because I feel like
If a
that's some
dude
weak
was
shit.
smaller than you saying, bro, stop it. Would
I
you
mean,
stop?
yeah. Nah, I feel like if you knew you could take him, like it's just like, all right, well,
I feel like that's
you
how
get
most
knocked out
men
too.
feel like they're gonna feel like they can take him. Like, shut up. Like, get out of this. Like, you ain't like why you butting in? Like, I'll beat you. Like, I don't think any backing down is really gonna happen in most instances. That's
Well,
wishful thinking though.
it is, but I feel like what I'm really trying to say is like I feel like that's some weak shit to like get aggressive with a woman. Like if you're a man, like in that way, I feel like that's some weak shit. Meaning, if a man tried you in the same way, then you probably wouldn't do nothing. But I see where you're coming
Okay,
from. Though.
so let's put a different scenario on the lady that was yelling. You heard all the curse words and all that and everything at the dude. What if she was the aggressor in the whole thing?
Damn, that's a good question.
And like started all that and like just got really upset at him, got like a little drunk. Like then what?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying you don't know the situation. Like it could have been she was the aggressor in the whole thing and not really on the dude. Maybe she was doing some stuff
Yeah,
that hey,
that
he had
is
no
true.
choice.
That is true, and we oftentimes don't even think about that because, like, I automatically jump to like the dude is the aggressor, but we don't know because I didn't hear him, I heard her for an hour. I'd never heard anything that he said, so she low-key might have been talking to herself, low-key. Like she might be schizophrenic or some shit. With just talking to somebody, talking to herself in the hallway. Like I did not hear nobody else. Yeah, that's an interesting way to look at it. But man. Welcome to the Friends Podcast, man. We back in the motherfucking building, man. Thank you for joining us. My name is Matt, and I'm here with my two co-hosts.
This is Jermaine, the new host of your favorite murder mystery podcast, the Friends Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Rod.
I was going to say, you know what? That might be the lane that we need to take this out into murder mysteries next.
We low-key, I love that shit too. First 48, Forensic Files, Snapped.
Anything on ID.
Yes, most definitely. But yeah, man, check us out.
I thought you definitely had to do a little bit more research though.
For sure. Before we get into the episode though, let me say check us out. You know, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Music, we're on YouTube. Check us out on Instagram, on TikTok. You know, all your socials, man. I think we are the Friends Pod on all of our socials. So check us out, and the links are in the description. Follow us, subscribe to us. Man, first topic today. Man, I seen this thing the other day about Kanye West, man. Kanye West, he's been one of those different types of figures, like where a lot of the shit that comes out about him is just crazy. Like the headlines are crazy these days. But the most recent one that I seen was it was like some tabloidy shit, and it kind of said like he told his wife to never speak again, and she has to wear certain different types of clothing, she has to eat certain types of shit. So like,
What
first
was
off,
the
I want to
sources?
some bullshit. It was some bullshit source, to be honest. Let me see if I can find it.
Oh, so it's some BS source
Yeah,
that's running a smear campaign on my nigga Ye.
a
I'm sick of
smear
like articles like that.
campaign. A smear campaign. They don't have. Trust me. They don't have to run a smear campaign on Kanye West. He can do it his damn self.
Yeah,
I
and I
tell
was
you
going
that
to say
much.
this one might be true. So let me give you some of the rules that he has for her. No talking to anyone without his permission. She can only eat the food he tells her to eat. He first taught her to exercise and stay in shape, and he chooses the clothes she wears.
Okay.
So
Now,
I don't know if that's a smear campaign. I believe all of those things.
it definitely sounds like some shit he would say when he's off his meds, just like on some, just like, you know. Have y'all ever seen that video? Yeah, exactly. Have you ever seen that video of him like yelling at Chance the Rapper, like randomly, like they was in a warehouse and he was
No.
yelling at Chance the Rapper? Like, ever since I seen that, I'm like, oh, this nigga's he's a loose cannon. Like he just says shit.
What was he yelling at
Oh,
him about?
I don't know. Probably about the music wasn't good or something. Like he wasn't rapping good enough. I forgot. I'll see if I can find it in the meantime. But um, so yeah, out of those rules that he said, like she got to dress a certain way, can't speak unless she's told to, has to work out, all those types of things. Are those things like super extreme to y'all? Or those, or do they seem like things that you're allowed to tell your partner to do?
Kanye is an extreme person, but I think actually a lot of these rules do kind of exist in relationships. Like you always, not always. You hear a lot of times people who are like, "Hey, I don't want you talking to your ex," or "I don't want you talking to female friends or male friends without letting me know." Um, I I had an incident at a restaurant maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago where this guy came up to me and my friend. We were eating some fries, and he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna take a picture to send to my girlfriend because I don't let her eat French fries." So there are
Mm,
definitely men who tell women what they can and can't eat. And I think it's pretty common for people to kind of let their partner know what they think is and isn't appropriate to dress. Now, I think Kanye is extreme because he's an extremist, but I feel like these variations of rules do kind of exist from a lot of people.
I mean, telling somebody to not speak again, like I'm trying to see what that would be for like the regular marriage or relationship. Like, what is that? Like, you can't speak until I tell you to speak. Like, that's super controlling to me. You know what I mean? Like, how? I'm just trying to
You know,
understand.
I feel like that one specifically probably was the aftermath of, that video that came out where she was being super friendly to that dude in like the mall or wherever.
Yeah, yeah. I want to ask y'all is so. I don't know if I want to get to relationship because what I was going to ask is like, what are some rules that you would put in place for your partner? You know what I mean? Because I'm just sitting here trying to think of something like, or would you even try to
Yeah,
put
let's
rules?
stop. Let's stop that. Let's stop it right there. That's a great question right there.
Hmm.
What rules do you have in place for your partner? You can't talk to your ex.
Okay. I think that's fair.
Now I'm curious, like, how do you make sure that that actually happens? Like, you just trust your partners would tell you, like, "Oh, I talked to my ex," or is it like, "Yo, if I see this person's name pop up on your phone, we're gonna have an issue"?
I would say in the past where if it's happened and stuff like that, I voiced that like really it's kind of just why is this person contacting you in the first place
Mm-hmm.
at this point? And then I'm kind of just trying to understand like what is the relationship that you guys have where he will feel that that is comfortable.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
um, but pretty much I voiced like, yeah, we not answering the phone. That's not what we're gonna do.
I feel that. I'm trying to think, like, at this stage in life, I don't know if I have many like specific hard rules. I don't really think I have any at this stage of life, but definitely in the past, like conversation. I don't even know if I said like no talking to your ex, but more so like not being in compromising situations with your ex. So like, okay, you may not talk, but if you have the same group of friends, like I don't want you kicking it with her. If she's there, like bounce.
I guess that's fair. The way I look at it though, in general, just about rules and shit like that, I don't see the point in putting rules because people gonna do what they do. Like especially at this age, like we're all adults. So
Mhm.
what I
You
look
definitely
like,
gotta set your boundaries though. Like you gotta
yeah,
like voice your opinion and voice how you feel about certain situations. If you're not comfortable, make sure you let your partner know that you're not comfortable in that situation.
no, for sure, and
There's
that's a
nothing
good.
there's nothing wrong with voicing that at least. So at least that
No,
the other person knows.
no, I definitely agree with that. I'm just saying, like on certain being like, hey, you can't leave the house unless you clean all the dishes, or like, yo, you can't
I
don't
think we're
buy you
getting
can
off.
only buy
I think we're
shoes.
getting off the question a little bit. So the question was, what rules do we set for what we set for our partner or whatever? I said
Right.
one, and then Jermaine said one. So what kind of rules would you give?
I'm saying that's what I'm saying though. I'm not. I don't think I would set rules. Like, what's the point in
You don't
setting
have any
rules?
rules, like any type of thing you
I
tell your
don't.
partner not to do, or that you don't like.
I feel like setting rules for other adults. That's not
I
what
feel
I'm
like
gonna set a rule for.
rules is a very strong word. Like we don't have to
Yeah.
even use rules, but it's definitely
Okay.
boundaries or things that we don't want our partner to do.
And I was just gonna say, just to add on to that, what you think about your answer, Matt, like that's one thing that I will say about the Kanye rules is that is like the sauce that I feel like maybe the people who wrote the article added to it is there's a different. These aren't the craziest standards to me. Now, depending on how he breaks them down, they might be really crazy. If he's like, you can only eat broccoli, then yeah, that's kind of insane. But saying like, hey, I have a certain image I gotta uphold, and if you want the benefits of being with Kanye West, you gotta put in the work to be with Kanye West. It's like, well, that's fair because we wouldn't know this girl outside of him. To me, sometimes it's less about rules, but like, what is the give and take in this relationship? So for me, like with that, oh, I don't want you around your ex saying, it's like, I want to give you full trust. And I don't want to be that person who's like going through your phone and like analyzing your behavior. So all I ask is for you to not even be in situations that I gotta not trust you.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah, I mean, so whether we call it rules or boundaries, I think that's two separate things. I think that boundaries at any point when we feel that our boundaries are getting touched and tested, then we can say that. But like, I really can't think of anything that I would say where I'd be like, don't do that, or you should be doing this. Like, I really can't think of anything.
So there was
Now,
nothing when you was in a relationship, there was nothing your girl did that made you say, I don't like that. Never. That's what you're saying. Like there's never an instance where you just went against like how she was moving
nah,
and you voiced opposition to what she was doing.
nah, not that I could think of.
How are
No,
you
you know
out of the
what? No,
relationship if you agree with everything?
that's actually no. Okay, I do have something now that I can think about it. It's certain words that you shouldn't say to people. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like that was my thing. Was like treat me with respect. Like, don't call me out of my name because I don't call
Oh
you out of your
yeah.
name. Like that, I feel like that's one of my things. Where it's like that's a rule because if I'm not gonna call you a hoe or bitch or whatever, whatever disrespectful word, like don't call me those things back, even if it is playing and that's just how you talk to your friends. And I know you know what I'm saying? Like those are certain things.
I kind of want to see the extreme.
Okay.
Do you get like a little upset if your girl call you bro?
Nah, I don't think that's ever happened to me actually, but so I don't know if I would get upset about it, to be honest. I don't think that's ever happened to me. Is that's strange though, right? Like I've heard people say that, like, don't call me bro, like that, you
A
my
lot of men
girlfriend.
don't like that.
I
Yeah.
definitely said that before. Like bro, like what? Don't. I'm not your bro. Like,
Yeah.
like it's just it's weird terminology.
And I feel like it could be said in multiple different ways. It could just be like bro, like my bro, or like bro, like like in a disrespectful type of way. Like you not my dude no more, you my bro. You know what I mean? Like that's when it
Mhm.
get fucked up because like, oh, like you don't even like what the fuck, you know?
I'm curious for both of you, like, what type of rules would you be willing to accept that your partner puts you on? So, like, let's say, as an example, taking the Kanye rules as a example, if it was like, hey, you need to let me know before you change your hair, like before you get a haircut, anything different to your hair, you got to let me know. If you're gonna grow it out, you need to talk to me about it.
Tuh, I ain't gotta let you know a goddamn thing. That's what I'm gonna say. Because and the reason I say that is just because I've been such an independent person for so long that I can't even see myself adhering to somebody else's like, oh nah, you should use this type of soap, and oh, like like you gotta cut your hair this way, your facial hair this way. Like I'm not doing that. Well,
That's
I
actually a great point. Like,
mhm.
what are some rules or I guess boundaries or something that your partner have told you to adhere by and that y'all was okay with?
None of them, but I'm still doing them. That's the thing.
So, girls have tried to give you rules before.
I mean, they
I
say
mean,
their boundaries or what they like or like, yeah, like they voice. Yeah, I want my girl to have an opinion just like I have an opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Like
mhm.
the same way I don't want her talking to her ex, she expects the same thing from me.
I think that's fair. Yeah, it's a two-way street in that way. I would say and I talked about it before. Like, oh, if we're going out and you don't want me to wear that, you want me to wear this. Like, okay, like I don't want to change my clothes, but I'm gonna change them. Or like, I want you to smell this way, so wear this cologne. Or I don't want to, but I don't know. It's just I feel like it's a stubbornness of like I don't really want to do it, but at the end of the day, you want to make sure that your girl or your dude is still attracted to you. So it's like you're gonna have to do what they want when it comes to shit like that. You know what I mean?
But
Other
I feel
shit
like
where it's
there's
like,
compromises, like even things like when y'all start to live together. or something like that. Like, oh, I want you to do stuff this way, or I want this to be moved over here. Like, you got to move your stuff in the closet somewhere. Like, I don't want really that there. It don't really go with what we're doing. Like stuff like that as well.
Well, I don't have a good example of that. I've only lived with somebody for the total of like 3.5 or 4 weeks, and then she moved out. So like I can't really, and in that short time, I don't think we had anything crazy that I can think of where it was like, oh, like we not getting along with how we putting the house together. But I'm assuming there is some shit like that. Have y'all experienced anything like that?
Compromising, like living together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I think sometimes it's about just accepting the person for who they are. So, for example, like if one person is a morning bird and the other person is a night owl, like sometimes I think you might just have to accept, like, okay, they're going to have their music blasting at 6 a.m, and this is just what it's going to be, like, because it's just who this person is. So I think sometimes that's a compromise, is just accepting, like, this is who the person is. I'm not going to ask you to change.
That's real, but if we take that specific scenario that you just talked about, like if it was me and I'm the person that's like up at 6 a.m. blasting music, and I know, my girl is still asleep till 9 a.m., I'm just not gonna play music. Like for me, I would compromise myself and be like, okay, I'm not gonna do the shit I usually do because she's still asleep. Like, I don't know.
I feel like the compromise would be like, all right, I'll put on headphones.
That too.
Yeah. And maybe this person just wasn't trying to compromise with me. I don't know. Maybe that's what it means. Because that shit was definitely blasting at 6 a.m.
I don't know. To me, that kind of sounds like a message. Like, if I'm blasting music and I know someone's asleep, that means get up. Like, it's time to wake up. Like, it's time to get the day started. It's a little late. Like, it's time to move.
It would definitely be going full blast at 6.
Breakfast got to get going. Like, niggas be hungry.
I think going back to the earlier question about like what's the rule that somebody has like given me, this isn't so much a rule. I don't know if a man has ever been like, do not do this, but you can tell by the things that somebody says, like what they care about and what they, if you want to make them happy, what you should kind of keep in mind. And I remember one time I was dating this guy, and I had got this like really expensive perfume. For anybody who's like into perfume, is Baccarat by 40. And I wore it around him. I was like, oh yeah, I'm smelling like money. Ooh. And he was like, you smell manly. He was like, this smells so masculine. Why are you wearing this? You smell like a man. He's like, you're such a feminine girl. You smell like a man. And so I definitely was like, bet, don't wear this one to get around him. Right. Got it. Got it.
Oh, I just thought of something weird that I ask the people around me. Like, no, this might sound crazy though. Like, I really hate gum. So I ask like the girls I'm with, like, don't chew gum around me. Like
you don't like the sound of it?
I just don't like the sight of it. I don't like the look of it. Like I don't know. It's just a real big off. Like, I don't know. It just like I can completely just start disliking somebody like by them chewing gum. Like it's weird. That's a weird thing for me. Like, I really hate it.
Like, do you have a traumatic story that happened? Like you got stuck in some gum one time and couldn't get out or something? Like what? Why?
Nah, just to me, it's nasty. Like it's just like the whole thing of it.
I've never heard.
Looks nasty to me. It's like
it is a weird concept.
Yeah, that is weird. But you know what? I'm not judging. I'm just saying, like, I never heard no shit like that. Like, that's a crazy turn off.
I do get it. Gum is gross, especially people who like touch their gum. I think that's really disgusting.
Mm-hmm. But Rod, how about you answer the question? So, like, in terms of what you were talking about, where having to compromise with living with people. Oh, my closet space is here. My sink is here. Like, have you dealt with that? And how do you deal with that? Like, what's the best way to compromise with that?
I wouldn't say necessarily that, but like I would say in my past, I had instances where she may not have liked my smoking or things like that, and then like the smell of it, and they would be like, "Nah, we don't really. Can you slow down on that?" So that's one of the things.
So what's interesting to me about what you were saying earlier, Matt, is it sounds like you don't like rules. Like you don't want rules put on you, and you also don't want to be with a girl who puts rules on you. Like you don't want to put them on her, and you don't want to receive them.
I don't want to receive them, but I'll do them just
Mm.
because I want that person to still like me. So it's like if that's what it takes for you to like me, like then okay, I'll do it. But I don't want to do it. I'm gonna be reluctant, but you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I just feel like it's not we're adults here. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be
Some
I don't
things I
know.
feel like if you like the person enough, you should just do it. Like if it really ain't that big of a deal, though, you'd be like, all right, just not do it.
Like what they say, happy wife, happy life. Like that type of shit, which that's a whole different conversation. But man, let's go ahead and get into another topic here, man. I'm still laughing about that. Kim K got a Manny. That shit was funny. Did you hear about that, Jermaine? How she got a Manny now?
I did.
I forgot the exact story, how you explained it to me, Rod. But had you heard about a Manny before this?
Yeah.
Okay, I never heard of that. We already spoke about Kanye a little bit, so let's talk about his ex-wife Kim. Where I guess on a recent episode of the Kardashians, she opened up about having a male nanny to spend time with her son, her and Kanye's son named Saint. She said it's really hard for me to be really strict and to discipline. My parents weren't strict, and sometimes because I'm really busy, it would be amazing if I had a partner who would tap me out and take over. But it can't happen like that. Like what you mean? Like
Yeah, it
her
also
man's right
says that
there.
like Kim be busy like 16-hour days and stuff like that, so she's not really around to
Damn.
watch the kids.
Well, goddamn, yeah, she need a Manny and a nanny. She need a whole another family for real. Like
No,
she
she
not even
does.
there.
She has a whole team.
Oh, okay, okay. But I just think that's a really interesting concept to have a Manny, a male nanny there when his father is alive and well and is looking to spend time with his son. So like, let's discuss that though. Like, is that a crazy concept to anybody else?
Well, yes and no. I think for a normal person, I would take that as offense. Like if you're a normal couple and you live, or not couple, but parents, and you live in the same, let's say, city, and you want your son to have more like of a male influence, and you hire somebody to do that, like that's kind of crazy to me. But considering that Kanye is like insanely busy himself, he's traveling, he's not necessarily always in Calabasas, then it's like I get you kind of might want a male figure who's around on a regular basis.
I get that too. I just feel like I don't want to cop out for them just because they rich and they busy and be like, oh, they can't spend time with their kids though. Like when you have kids, you kind of have to sit down and take time to go do that. Versus like, oh, I'm still gonna be working 16. Like they have enough money. Like they good on money. So
Hell yeah.
you know what I mean? So that's why I'm confused about like this phenomenon of like, oh, I'm just gonna put the parenting off on somebody else, for a couple of years. So I just think it's a crazy concept. And like I said, when the father is right there and has been telling the internet for at least a year, like I want to see my kids, and like that should be the male influence right there, regardless of his mental state. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah,
I'm
I think it's ridiculous to be honest. If Kanye's there and he's the father of the child and he's been screaming at the top of his lungs he want to see his kids, don't go hire a man. He talking about this is the reason like I'm doing this because of a man influence when your father's there. And I don't like the cop out either with how you were saying that because Kim Kardashian takes them on trips and vacation and place to place all the time. We see the kids pop up everywhere. So that's not an excuse. Just give the kid to Kanye. Like that's his son. Like he can take the kid with him wherever he goes, just like how Kim does. Like that's not the problem. The problem is she just doesn't want his male influence in the kid's life. And like
mm,
she doesn't have that to me, that she doesn't have that choice to say that. Like that's their real father. Like you can't try to go and replace his presence with someone else that you feel is like good. Like it's not your say to do that. Like that's Kanye's kids. His
Yeah.
presence and like how he wants to raise those kids is just as important as how she wants to raise them.
hmm
I feel like that's
hmm
the
that's
that's the
fair.
big problem here.
And I am not a Kanye fan at this very moment, and I'm not sticking up for him. But at the end of the day, she did
I'm
have
not
a
a Kim
choice.
fan either.
I mean, yeah, I'm definitely not no Kim K fan. Um,
So
but she had a choice. She had a choice to have kids with dude. So like,
And she had 4 of them.
yeah, but now you don't want his influence now. So it's like, what's really going on?
But let me ask you guys this. Taking it kind of off of Kim and Kanye specifically. So in that quote that you read, Kim was saying, like, oh, I'm not very strict. I want a stricter, somebody else who can be strict. I saw another clip of the show and she was saying how she just wants him to have like a man to do man stuff with. And, he was playing basketball with Kanye or whatever. But I'm curious, like, in terms of like the discipline that she's talking about, is it easier as a boy to receive that from a man versus a woman?
I feel like you learn different things. You know how to like respect a woman by looking at your mom and how your father would treat your mom, and kind of vice versa.
In terms of like receiving, what do I call it? Like chastisement or receiving, like things like that. I mean, it's definitely different. Like my dad was definitely belt to ass. Like he wasn't playing with that shit at all. My mom too, though. Like my mom, she'll pull out the belt like every now and again. Like so, I definitely got it. Like in the physical discipline, I definitely got it from both. Verbal, probably more pops. You know what I mean? But I would say that I took heed to both of them. You know what I mean? Maybe not, maybe reluctantly at first, but like I definitely still took heed. I don't think it necessarily has to come from a man.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about that.
I would say like that's interesting. I would say the opposite for me. My dad never touched me, like ever, like in my life. It was only my mother who did that, like got the belt, and probably to like my teen years or whatever.
So with your dad, was it like he could just tell me what to do or to stop doing something and like, okay, cool, I'm gonna cut it out?
Yeah, he can just like he would just have like I guess a stern voice and be like, use your head, like what are you doing? Like just explain to me that that's not the right decision. Like, why are you doing that? This what could happen, and blah blah blah. Like he'll more just explain it.
Yeah. I guess that's what kind of stood out to me about that quote from her is her saying like, oh, I'm not really a disciplinarian. And so I'm hiring this Manny to be that. It's kind of weird to me. I could see hiring a Manny because you just need another pair of hands around the house. And you're like, yo, I got a bunch of sisters. There's a lot of women around here. I just want a male influence. But the disciplinarian thing, I feel like you as the parent should be the disciplinarian, not the paid help. Like that's really weird to me.
No, I totally agree with that. Just because, and I'm even sitting here thinking about like, well, is that even in the job description? Like, are nannies and are they supposed to do that?
Like it.
If they pay them to do it, then yeah, it is. People can pay you whatever whatever your price is.
It almost comes off to me as if she's like offshooting the hard parts of being a mom. Like, hey, I want the cool parts of we take cute pictures and we have fun parties, but like actually making sure my kids have a certain, respect for people and have discipline in their life. No, I don't want to do that.
I think it was a bit different also when she was with Kanye, because Kanye was very vocal that he didn't want that many nannies and stuff around his kids. He want them and their family members to be the ones that raise them. So I think now that he's out the picture, she's kind of just like, all right, I'm busy. This is the only thing I can do. Like, this is the only thing I can think of. And like her version of parenting may be to offload herself. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing, but if Kanye didn't really like that in their relationship, you shouldn't just do that like outside of the relationship. If you feel like you're too busy, give the kids to Kanye more. Like that should be the decision then.
And also, like, I don't know, maybe this is just my my frame of view, but do you have to be so busy? Like Kim is 43. She has amassed a lot of wealth for herself, for her sisters, for her whole family. Like her lineage is straight. You don't necessarily need to be on every billboard. You don't need to be doing every single campaign that gets offered to you. You don't need to always be doing the law school, plus the Skims business, plus all this different shit. Like, do you need to do all these things? Or like, at what point can you say like, you know what? I can kind of cool out on some of these different projects.
I feel like we would look at this. Would you look at that differently if it was a man in her position?
If it was a single man, a single father who was divorced with 4 kids and he was the primary caretaker. Yeah.
And he had like $1 billion business going on. Would you want him to slow up and of his business? And
I
would
will,
you expect that of him like you do Kim Kardashian, like a woman?
if it was a single father who had 4 kids and he was the primary parent, I would want him to be more focused on his businesses, or not more focused on the business, but more focused on his efforts. So for example, if we're talking about Jeff Bezos, who has 50 million businesses, I would hope for him to be like, okay, you know what? I don't need to be doing the space shit. I don't need to be doing this, and this other investment. Like, I'm good. I'm only going to focus on my main bread and butter, which is Amazon. Because if this is straight, my kids are going to be straight. That's kind of what I would expect for Kim. Like, maybe you focus on Skims. Maybe you focus on the show. But like, she does a lot of other shit. All the media appearances and different brand deals. Like, that stuff takes a lot of time. And I don't know if you, at this stage, should care about a check that much. I hate to say it.
I feel like that's hard to say when she, like, in her eyes, I'm just like going with probably what she's thinking. She's been working for like her entire life, and now that she worked up to that point, and now she's only in her 40s. Like, to be honest, in your 40s, I feel like you're still like pretty much in your prime. Like, you're still young. Like, I can understand her maybe slowing up maybe when she gets in her 50s, but like when you're still in your 40s, I can see why she would still want to put more effort in the business and keep, because it's like only going up right now. I feel like this is like the business going great. So why slow down at this moment? Like, I feel like that's kind of how she sees it. Like it could be a lot bigger and she's working on it to even expand more and then like slow up. So I understand her point of view by saying, yeah, it's just not the right time to slow up right now. Like, as business is really booming and this is becoming what it is.
And that's fair. I get that. But I would say, I think in her case, and let's say that Jeff Bezos example, then the other parent should be more involved with the kids. Like, if that's her case where she feels like, no, I'm making money, like I need to keep hustling. Kanye's not touring right now. Like, why can't Kanye have the kids half the time?
That's what Kanye's saying as well. He's like texting Ian Connor, talking about Elon. Elon, you not my friend if you don't let her know and voice your opinion, saying Kim ain't letting me see my kids. Like, and I feel like he's confused why like he can't see the kids if he sees it probably the same way we do. You real busy. I'm in my off time. Like, it's just me and my wife. But then I did hear extra reports though. I might as well go and put that out there. Like, Kim said that she was upset about like the erratic behavior in Italy, in the news articles and stuff like that about his wife, giving him head in the bowl, about how she appears.
Allegedly, we don't
like
know if that's
okay. How they dress out in public out there, how she been dressing, how Kanye's been with no shoes and champagne bottles. Like, just enjoying himself in vacation. That's kind of how I take it in Italy. Like, he's with his wife. They just got married. It's a honeymoon phase. Like, yes, I'm getting head like in Italy. Yes, I'm having champagne. Like, I'm celebrating like, I just got married. Like, give him a break. I don't think that's erratic behavior. But that's kind of how she views it and like how the news sees it. But they all be trying to doubt my nigga, yeah. Like, he ain't crazy.
So I actually, I'm a Kim Kardashian stan. I love her. Love Kim. Hope to meet her one day. But I got to say, this is one area that she pisses me off about. Kanye has been Kanye. Like, none of this is new. If you paid an ounce of attention to him since he came out, you would know that he is very egotistical. He is very creative. He has his own way of looking at the world. Like, he can be a little erratic. Some of this is well documented. And the fact that she then went on to like have a relationship with him, you have 4 kids with him. You even use a surrogate to have some of these kids because she had her issues or whatever with preeclampsia. You knew what this was and you benefited from it when you wanted the benefits. When you wanted to be accepted in high fashion, cool, I'm rocking with Kanye. When she wanted to move up in her stardom, I'm rocking with Kanye. When you want to be at the Met Gala, I'm rocking with Kanye. And it's like, now that it doesn't benefit her. Now all of a sudden, like, he's erratic and I want to keep the kids away. Bitch, you didn't have to have these 4 kids with him. You didn't have to marry him. Like, you made that choice. You knew what the fuck he was on. That is so irritating to me.
Yeah, she seen dollar signs and she seen that black skin, and that was pretty much all she needed to see, and the status, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, now that she don't have no use for it, it's like, oh, this nigga's crazy. Like, nigga, we been knew this.
I really think he helped that whole scams business pop off. Like, how much he was in, like, those fashion warehouses, how much work he put into, like, that area, these brand deals. It was literally like it aligned with her business and how she wanted to, like, showcase that to the world. She was able to do that through those connections.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. Even her sister benefited, to be honest.
Yeah. I just don't like feeling like her and her family are throwing him under the bus now that it's not beneficial to them anymore. I just don't like that. People, you can't pick up people and throw them away when you choose. That's not cool to me.
And then Tristan,
especially the father.
Rod, don't do that. Don't do that.
What?
Don't do that.
Don't do what? What do you mean?
Don't do it. Man, put some respect on Caitlyn's name. Put some respect on Caitlyn.
Oh. I did not know that's what you were going.
That's not what I was talking about.
Oh, okay. You said the father.
Like, I'm talking about
Kanye's the father.
Oh.
No, you can't just throw him away.
Matt. That was only you. We took it there.
And this has been another episode of the Friends Podcast. I could definitely got to cut that out. All right. Let's get into some highlights for the week, man. What y'all? You know what? Let me go ahead and start a highlight, man.
Don't cut anything out. Like, just end it right there.
Okay.
We don't need the highlights. That was it.
Well, this has been the Friends Podcast, man. Thank you so much for joining us. If you made it this far, we appreciate you, and we out. Peace out.
Bye.